guts, he knew that they didn't have what he was looking for. Now, what is the Bodhisattva looking for? Yes, the Blessed One left his luxurious life, his loving family, for only one goal. Was it a selfish goal? No, it wasn't a selfish goal. He wanted to find true happiness, not only for himself, but to all beings, to both you and I. The Supreme Buddha wanted to find Nibbana and attain Buddhahood so that others can learn the path to escape from rebirth, to escape from having to suffer through aging and death. The Blessed One did this sacrifice for all beings in this world, regardless of religion, race, or class. Because we all as human beings gets reborn again and again. We all age and we all die and we suffer because of this. And the Supreme Buddha saw that there must be a way to escape from this suffering. And so, out of compassion to all beings in this world, the Blessed One left his luxurious life and went in search of Buddhahood, all alone. When he went to the village Senani, he was all alone. There was no one to teach him what to do. So he had to find this path on his own. So what did he do? Yes, he started to follow the teachings of different ascetics. He did things like standing up on one leg for a long time. He rejected seeds. He ate things like roots and fruits and leaves of trees. And he sank in water for 3 times a day, thinking it would purify his mind. In this way, he did many things. And then we talked about how he thought that breathingless meditation would lead him to finding true happiness. And we talked about how much pain he suffered by practicing that breathingless meditation. You remember how his head was paining so much, how his stomach was paining so much, and how he felt a burning sensation all over his body. But although he experienced this physical pain, his mind was very much alert. He was very mindful that pain didn't affect his mind. Now imagine how strong and powerful the Bodhisattva might have been. If an ordinary person gave those bodily tormentations to one's body, they would quickly die. They wouldn't be able to withstand the pain. But because the Bodhisattva had past merit that he collected, he was able to withstand all those tormentation to the body. So today we're going to continue to learn about the pain the Blessed One went through in search of Nibbana, in search of true happiness, not only to himself, but in search of true happiness to all beings in this world. So meritorious children, after the Blessed One practiced breathingless meditation, it was so painful that he ended up becoming unconscious, and we talked about how devas were watching him. Meritorious children, at that time, the Bodhisattva thought, I've been giving my body this much pain, but I have not been able to gain any special knowledge. So he thought, then there must be another way to finding true happiness, to finding liberation, freedom from suffering. Some meritorious children, our great teacher, as the Bodhisattva, as a recluse Gautama, thought, then another way might be to strike food. So he thought, I'm going to fast. I'm not going to eat anymore. he thought not eating, fasting will help him to attain liberation, freedom. Now at that time, Devas were watching him, remember? And when the Devas realized that the Bodhisattva had this idea in his mind of fasting, they quickly came to recluse Gautama and said, "Oh recluse Gautama, please do not stop eating." The Devas pleaded. They said, "Recluse Gautama, if you do not eat, then we are going to insert heavenly food into your body through the pores of your body." What did they say? Yes, they said, if you strike food, that means if you fast, if you do not eat, then we are going to put heavenly food through the pores of your body. Now at that time, recluse Gautama thought, the Bodhisattva thought, if they do so, then my determination is going to become false. So he told the Devas that, all right, then I'll eat a bit of food. And so, meritorious children, the Bodhisattva gradually decreased the amount of food that he ate. Little by little, he decreased the amount of food, and at one point, he only ate a single grain of rice a day. He only ate a single green gram a day. Now imagine surviving with eating just 1 grain of rice, 1 green gram. Now you may think that green grams and rice during that time was big, but the Blessed One himself explains, no, it was exactly the same size as it is now. And sometimes the Bodhisattva only had a handful of soup, and the Bodhisattva survived with very little food. Now because he didn't eat, the Bodhisattva's body became weaker and weaker. The Blessed One's body became weaker and weaker. He got really thin. He became a skeleton. His beautiful appearance disappeared. His hands and legs looked like vines, like bamboo sticks. They were so thin, you could only see the bones. And his eyes, his beautiful blue eyes, turned pale. And the eyes went deep into the eye sockets, and it looked like shining water in a deep well. Not only that, when he would touch his belly, he could feel his spine. That's how thin he was. And when he would touch his spine, he could feel his stomach from the other side. That's how thin the Bodhisattva turned. He became very pale and weak. He couldn't even stand. That's how weak he was. His head dried up and his skin started to flake off. Now remember, meritorious children, the Bodhisattva is the most beautiful person in this world. Remember, we talked about how the Bodhisattva had the 32 signs of a great being. He was the most handsome person in this world. But because of this fasting, his appearance faded little by little. Some people came to see him and they said, "Oh, recluse Gautama now looks dark." Others said, "Recluse Gautama now looks very pale." And his beautiful golden appearance disappeared because of this fasting. Now why is he fasting? Because the Bodhisattva thinks that the path to true liberation can be attained by decreasing the amount of food that he's eating. So little by little, his body became very weak. He turned into a skeleton. You could see his ribs. Now when you go to temples, you can see pictures of the Bodhisattva during this bodily tormentation time. You can see pictures of the Bodhisattva looking like a skeleton. So in this way, meritorious children, the Bodhisattva went through so much bodily pain for 6 years. How many years? For 6 years, the Blessed One, as the Bodhisattva, gave his body so much pain. And at the end, he became so weak. He became so weak that when he went to go to the toilet, he couldn't stand. He would fall. He was that weak. Now at that time, meritorious children, someone was watching him. Do you know who that was? Yes, Mara was watching him. Now we talked about who Mara was in a previous episode. Who's the Mara? Yes, the Mara is the evil one. So when the Bodhisattva became this weak, the Mara came and said, "O recluse Gautama, you must stop what you're doing. If you do not stop what you're doing, then you're going to die soon." What did he say? Yes, the Mara said, if you do not stop what you're doing, you'll die very soon. And so the Mara said, "Recluse Gautama, please stop what you're doing and eat food. If you do not stop, you'll die. So instead, try to stay alive, collect merit, and lead a happy life." Because remember, Mara doesn't want recluse Gautama to attain Buddhahood. He doesn't want to see anyone escape from this cycle of birth and death. He wants recluse Gautama to continue in this samsara. So that's why the Mara came and invited the Bodhisattva to continue to eat, to start to eat, so that he could be alive. He said, "You have a 90% chance of dying if you do not stop what you're doing. You only have a 10% chance of living if you continue in this way." Now, meritorious children, what do you think was the Bodhisattva's reply to this? The Bodhisattva said, "O Mara, the evil one, don't think that I'm going to do what you're asking me to do. I do not want merit. That's not what I'm looking for. I have enough merit. I'm not looking to collect merit. What I want in this life is to escape from all suffering and teach others the path to escaping from all suffering." So he said, "O Mara, if someone is looking to collect merit, please go away and tell the way of collecting merit to that person. But don't tell me, because what you're saying is of no use to me. I'm going to defeat you without a doubt, and I'm going to attain Buddhahood." Now imagine how brave the Bodhisattva must have been to speak in this way to the evil one Mara, isn't it? So when the Bodhisattva told this to Mara, the Mara disappeared. Now, meritorious children, during this 6th year self-mortification, that means during these 6 years that the Bodhisattva gave so much bodily pain to his body, there were 5 people who were supporting him. Who are the 5? Yes, it was the 5 recluses who were supporting him, who was taking care of him during these 6 years. Now, one of the 5 recluses is Brahmin Kondanya. Now, you must remember who Brahmin Kondanya is. Remember, he was the person who held up one finger during the naming ceremony and said, "O King Suddhodana, without a doubt, this baby prince is going to become a Buddha." Remember? When Brahmin Kondanya heard that the Bodhisattva had renounced a household life and become a monk, he himself renounced the household life. That means he left home and he also became ordained. He became a recluse along with 4 other friends. And their names were Vappa, Baddiya, Mahana, Massaji. So these 5 recluses, Kondanya, Vappa, Baddiya, Mahanama, Assaji, were the 5 recluses who took care of recluse Gautama during this time of self-mortification, of giving so much pain to the body in search of liberation. Meritorious children, these 5 recluses believed that giving pain to this body, this extreme pain to this body, is without a doubt the path to attaining freedom, attaining true happiness. So they thought, recluse Gautama will find the path because he is giving so much pain to the body. Now he has decreased the amount of food he is taking. He has gone through breathingless meditation. In this way, he has given various amounts of pain to his body. So they believed that by doing this, recluse Gautama will be able to find true happiness. So that's why throughout the 6 years, these 5 recluses supported recluse Gautama. Now also, meritorious children, there was something else that we must learn. Back in the palace of Prince Siddhartha, King Suddhodana sent messengers into the forest to figure out what recluse Gautham was doing. From these messengers, Princess Yashodhara heard that recluse Gautama was giving himself a lot of pain, that he was giving so much pain to his body. When she heard that recluse Gautama was living outside in the forest under trees, she herself refused to sleep on beds. She slept on the floor. When she heard that recluse Gautama had given up his beautiful, elegant clothes and is wearing a ragged robe, she herself refused to wear beautiful, elegant clothes. She herself gave those beautiful clothes up and she wore a very plain robe. When she heard that recluse Gautama was eating very little, she herself limited the amount of food that she was taking, that she was eating. Why? Because she felt very sad that recluse Gautama was going through so much pain. Remember, Princess Yashodhara loved recluse Gautama very much, loved him very much, and she felt sad that her loving husband was going through this much pain. So as a result, she herself gave up her luxurious life and she led a very charmed life throughout the 6 years. So meritorious children, in this way, the Bodhisattva for 6 years gave an immense amount of pain to his body. Because of all the stress that he went through, he looked very weak. As we mentioned before, his head got dried up and wrinkled. His whole body was full of dust and the skin was flaking. And he became so thin that it looked like it was just a skeleton. His body looked like a skeleton. You could see his ribs through the skin, and when he touched his belly, he could feel his spine. That's how thin he was. And when he would touch his spine, he could feel his stomach. And when he would rub his hand, his body hair would fall off. That's how weak he was. And so as a result, he became so weak that he fell unconscious. Now that's why Mara came and said, if you do not give up what you're doing, you're going to die. He was that weak, meritorious children. If a regular person did this to his body for 6 years in this way, he wouldn't be able to withstand the pain. But it was because the Bodhisattva had a lot of merit. Because of that reason, he was able to withstand the pain for 6 years. Now at the end of the 6 years, the Bodhisattva realized, I have given my body so much pain. I don't think that anyone in this world, no recluse in this world, would have given this much pain or more pain to this body than I have. So he thought, but although I gave this much pain to this body, I haven't gained any special knowledge. I haven't found what I'm looking for. I haven't found the path that leads to freedom, true happiness. And he thought, then there must be some other way to attaining Buddhahood, finding true liberation. And so he started to think. Meritorious children, when he thought in this way, he remembered his past. He remembered the way he practiced a meditation, the breathing meditation, during the plowing festival as a baby, as a child. Now remember, we learned about the plowing festival in a previous episode. Remember how when King Suddhodana came to the plowing season, when he came to first use the golden plow, when they had the plowing festival to start the harvesting season, King Suddhodana brought little baby, Prince Siddhartha, and he left the baby under a tree along with some nannies. Now what did the nannies do? Yes, nannies left the baby and they watched the plowing festival. Now at that time, what happened? Prince Siddhartha got up and he couldn't find anyone nearby. So what did he do? Yes, he started to sit upright and practice the breathing meditation, breathing in and breathing out. And when he did so, his mind became concentrated, remember? And at that time, the mind became so concentrated that he was able to lift his body up. The body became very light. So recluse Gautama remembered this breathing meditation and he thought, maybe that's the way to attaining Nibbana. He thought, all right, then since giving my body this much pain didn't work, let me try the breathing meditation. So he decided to practice the breathing meditation. He sat down and he started to meditate. But meritorious children, he wasn't able to do so. Why? Because his body was so weak. His body was so weak that he couldn't even stand up straight. He was so weak. And so he realized, the recluse Gautama realized, then fasting, stopping eating is not the way. If I am to start meditating, then I need food. I need to get more energy and build up this body. And so recluse Gautama decided to go on the alms round and he started to eat again. He went to the nearby Senani village and he went on the alms round. And when he got food from the lay people, he started to eat again. Little by little, gradually, he increased the amount of food he ate. Now at that time, meritorious children, the 5 recluses were watching this. And they thought, oh, recluse Gautama has given up his mission. Because why? They thought giving pain to the body is the path to attaining liberation. So when recluse Gautama decided that that's not the way, the 5 recluses felt very disappointed. They thought, oh, recluse Gautama has given up his mission. There's no point in attending to him anymore. He has turned back to the luxurious life, the comfortable life. So the 5 recluses who attended, who took care of the recluse Gautama for 6 long years, decided to leave him. They left recluse Gautama and they left the Senani village and they went to the city called Varanasi. So little by little, meritorious children, recluse Gautama started to eat and he started to gain more and more energy. His beautiful appearance started to reappear again. His body started to look like before. He got more muscles, he got more energy, and his golden skin started to reappear. So today, meritorious children, we learned about the 6-year self-mortification that our great teacher, the Blessed One, went through in search of true happiness for all of us. Meritorious children, the Blessed One, as the Bodhisattva, went through all this pain because he was very compassionate towards all beings in this world. He had only one goal, to help all beings in this world to escape from suffering. He went through this much pain for both you and I. So, meritorious children, in the next episode we'll continue to learn about how our recluse Gautama decided to take food again and how he went in search of true happiness. So until next time, try to remember what we learned today, and in the next episode we'll continue with our journey of the life story of the Supreme Buddha. Namo Buddhaya.